Once upon a time, there was this valley of the big bad giants, and the noble knights were riding through that valley. Once upon a time, 1973 to be exact, there was a basketball team. A team that was a little bit Walt Disney, a little bit Hans Christian Andersen, a little bit Alice in Wonderland, and a whole lot champions. They were invited to the N.I.T. face the giants of collegiate basketball. That Fantasyland team was called Virginia Tech, and they rewrote the storybook. On a Sunday afternoon in late March, this Virginia Tech team would outdo the heroics of Jack and the Beanstalk, Hans Brinker, even Davy Crockett. Our story begins in Blacksburg, Virginia, early in December 1972. The Tech men opened their season with a smashing victory over Appalachian State, 99-58. Captain, team leader, and All-American candidate Alan Bristow led the way.
Alan Bristow at the free throw line has the 1-and-1 opportunity. Bristow with 12 points in the game. Stands in for the front half of this 1-and-1. Here it is. He's got it. Bristow's 13th point. The Tech lead goes to 31-27. Bristow earning the bonus. And the second shot. Misses, comes right back to him. Bristow back up, it's in. Bobby Stevens, left side to Charlie Thomas. Alan Bristow wheeling into the lane. Up, takes the jumper, it's in. 5 minutes, 18 seconds to go in this first half. Virginia Tech up by 3. Alan Bristow at the free throw line with a 1-and-1 opportunity. Here's Bristow's one. He's got it. 13 for Bristow. Tech's lead is 4, 31-27. Bonus shot coming up. Bristow with the bonus shot. High off the front edge, right back to Bristow. He's got it up again. It's good. Virginia Tech by 6. Appalachian State up court with Bob Tate and Charlie Barnes, the guards. Hill, Rutten, Davis up front. Goes to the left side, back out top of the key. Davis pops. No good. Rebound. Alan Bristow holds and waits for traffic to clear, and Bobby Stevens brings it into front court. Virginia Tech up by 6 with the ball. Goes to Charlie Thomas. Thomas down the left side, back between the circles. Bobby Stevens penetrates top of the key, takes the jumper. Nope, it's off. Bristow rebounds back up. It's good. 7 straight points for Alan Bristow. Virginia Tech's lead is 4.5 minutes to go in the first half. Virginia Tech up by 11 with the ball as we come close now to the end of this first half. Charlie Thomas and Dave Sensabaugh at the guard. Sensabaugh, Thomas on the left side, breaking up as Bristow takes the pass back out between the circles. Sensabaugh, Thomas, Leader breaking up on the high post. There's the pass. Leader down to Bristow. Bristow dropping to driving Dave Sensabaugh. Sensabaugh has the layup. 44-31. Virginia Tech up by 13. Appalachian into front court. Time running out. They'll probably now hold for the last shot as Charlie Barnes goes across to Bob Tate. Tate penetrating top of the key. Takes the shot. No good. Rebound. Craig Leader. Clears to Sensabaugh. Sensabaugh up court to Kyle McKee. Dropping to Mike Collins. Collins takes the jumper. Hits. And that's the end of the first half. Virginia Tech's Calvin Wade at the free throw line with a 1-and-1 opportunity. Here's the front half. He's got it. Calvin Wade converting the front end of the 1-and-1. 78-52. Virginia Tech by 26. That'll earn for Calvin the bonus shot. And he's got it. 79-52 Virginia Tech. Snapping on the press. The inbounds pass stolen by Wade. Gets it to Bristow underneath. Up it goes. In. 33 points for Alan Bristow. And Tech now has moved from a 15-point halftime lead to up by 29 with 6.5 minutes to go. Kyle McKee down at the scorer's table getting set to come in. That probably means that Alan Bristow will be coming out very shortly, and as a matter of fact right now, as Appalachian's calling a timeout. Alan Bristow will be coming out of the game. 33 points in this one. He had 20 at the half as Virginia Tech leads. Virginia Tech 81, Appalachian State 52, 6.5 minutes to go. Last half minute of play. Tech up the court, leading 99-58 with only about 25 seconds, now down to 23 seconds to go. From outside, Collins up off the rim, a battle and a scramble for it. Everybody grabbing, it rolls out of bounds. It'll go over to Appalachian State. Well, Virginia Tech, with a successful season opener here, leading 99-58. Appalachian inbounds with the ball as they get it up court now, only 10, down to 5 seconds to go. Shot from outside by Bob Tate is not good. There's the buzzer. The game is over, and the final score, Virginia Tech 99, Appalachian State 58.
Following that opening game victory, the Techmen were snapped back into a mournful reality by nationally ranked North Carolina. The 96-82 loss to the Tar Heels sent the Techmen on a rampage. For the next 9 games, they would not feel the sting of defeat. thus setting a win streak record unmatched since the 1961-62 season. First to fall was William & Mary, then East Tennessee State. Next came powerhouse Ohio State.
A minute 37 seconds to go. 1:37 to play. Virginia Tech's 7-point lead that they had midway of the second half, 11 points a little bit earlier than that, cut all the way back to 1, 63-62. Virginia Tech ahead by 1 with the ball. Into front court, Bobby Stevens going to Charlie Thomas. Thomas in from the right side, takes the jumper, hits! Virginia Tech by 3, 65-62. A minute 17 seconds to go. Tech up by 3 now as Ohio State into front court. Dan Gerhardt. Alan Horniak penetrating down the left side. Charlie Thomas right with him. It comes back and across outside. Bill Andreas. Andreas for Gerhardt. Left to the key. Horniak open. Takes the jumper. Missed. Rebound. Charlie Thomas. Holding for Bobby Stevens as they clear out. Stevens up court. Horniak apparently looking for Thomas. Found himself open that time but missed from his favorite spot at the left of the key. All right, Tech in front court, and a whistle, and away from the ball, personal foul on Jackson. Wardell Jackson picks up the personal foul, his 4th, with a minute 2 to go. That'll send Charlie Thomas to the free throw line. Tech ahead by 3, 65-62. Thomas at the line with the 1-and-1 opportunity. All right, set to go here at Columbus, Ohio. Virginia Tech ahead of Ohio State, a minute and 2 seconds away from the win. Thomas at the free throw line. Missed. Rebound. Ohio State. All right, the Buckeyes up court with the ball. They trail by 3. Still plenty of time to go. We're under the minute mark. Horniak down the left side, penetrating, getting it to Jackson. Ball is knocked away. Coming up with it, Charlie Thomas. Tech has it back. In the front court. Pass from Thomas across. Tech being pressed across to Stevens. Stevens back to midcourt. It is out of bounds. Off Virginia Tech and back over to Ohio State. Tech never really got going after they gained possession that time. Ohio State all over them. In the tough press now. All right, Virginia Tech will put the ball, or Ohio State will put the ball in play near midcourt. Inbounds it comes. Again, it's tipped away, out of bounds, and it'll belong to Ohio State. Charlie Thomas and Bobby Stevens pulling a little double team action. Ohio State with the ball. Half minute to go now. Inbounds it comes. Into front court. Alan Horniak down the left side. Andreas, top of the key, takes the jumper, missed, rebound Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech up court, 8 seconds to go, the 3-point lead, playing keep away. Leader open under the bucket, they got it to him, the shot, it's good, and he's fouled. Virginia Tech will win the game. It's 67-62. The Hokies have it locked, there'll be a free throw coming up, it won't matter. As Virginia Tech, leading by 3, got it under the bucket to Craig Leader. Leader gets the layup in. He's fouled by Horniak, a frustrated young man this night, as Charlie Thomas really all over Horniak all evening. Great defensive job on one of the leading scorers in the Big Ten, one of the leading scorers in the country. Here's the free throw from Leader. It's not good, but the final score reads Virginia Tech 67, Ohio State 62.
For Coach Don DeVoe, a former Buckeye basketballer and former assistant coach there, it was sweet victory indeed.
Well, Don, it was a classic story tonight. The pupil teaching the teacher, coming home here to Columbus to meet your old coach, Fred Taylor, and a man that you played for and worked for, and coming up with a great win.
It certainly was, Jerry. Being able to come back to Columbus, Ohio, and, of course, to play before 13,497 people, and, of course, a statewide television audience has to be the greatest thrill of my life, and I'm really happy for our players at this time.
Well, what was the big point tonight? I guess the great job Charlie Thomas did on Horniak didn't hurt any.
You're certainly right. Charlie Thomas has been doing a fine job for us since he arrived from Ferrum Junior College. And, of course, to my knowledge, this is the lowest point total that Alan Horniak has been held to in his 3 years as a varsity player at Ohio State.
You have to play at a severe height disadvantage again tonight. Their 7-footer did a great job.
That's right. Of course, Luke Whitty did not start against us. He came into the ball game, but he created many problems because he hadn't been playing well, and I think he had to prove to this large crowd tonight that he was still a great basketball player, and he did create problems on the boards.
After Ohio State, it was a sweep of the Old Dominion Classic in Norfolk. Tech took on a tough and talented cross-state rival, Old Dominion, in the first round. It was homecoming for Bobby Stevens and Craig Leader. Leader put on a performance reminiscent of his star-studded high school career. Craig's sharpshooting helped Tech eke out a thrilling 81-80 victory that sent Tech into the finals against treetop tall Stanford. The Gobblers had an easy time of that one until the closing minute of play.
Charlie Thomas with the ball. There's the buzzer. It's over. Virginia Virginia Tech is the ODU Classic champion, holding Stanford 77-71 after the Cardinals had cut the Hokies' 11-point halftime lead all the way down to 1 with 14 seconds to go. A big 29-point output from Craig Leader, a couple of key steals by Charlie Thomas in the final seconds. Tech wins it by 6. The final again, Virginia Tech 77, Stanford 71.
Next came St. Bonaventure. The bodies were tough, but Tech was tougher. 3 Gobblers, Bristow, Thomas, and Leader, scored over 20 points.
Dave Senzaba over the top to Bristow at the baseline. The jumper, Bristow hits. 14 for Bristow. Charlie Thomas down the left side, moves all the way to the baseline. The follow-away jumper, good. 10 for Thomas. Tech leads by 5. Craig Leader from deep in the right corner, hits. Charlie Thomas down the left side, moves back outside to his right. Between the circles it goes to Bobby Stevens. Stevens starts in on the right side, goes on the post, back to Thomas. Thomas drives all the way under. The layup is good. Charlie Thomas spotting the alley open. 12 points for Thomas here in the second half, 16 in the game. Thomas to Bobby Stevens. Stevens getting to the top of the key. Off to his left to Leader, open for the 20-footer. Got it! Bobby Stevens in for Leader. Leader moving out to the left sideline. Back to Stevens. Stevens from outside. Misses. Bristow with the rebound. Back up. Good. Bristow's 18th point.
A few days later, the Tech fans were treated to another brilliant 33-point display by Alan Bristow at home against the tough Gamecocks of South Carolina.
3 minutes into the game, Virginia Tech and South Carolina tied at 6. Bobby Stevens directing the offense outside, bounces to Bristow in the lane. The hook shot, Bristow got it. Tech takes the lead, 8-6. Tech up by 2 as Kevin Joyce for the Gamecocks brings it into front court. Joyce taking it up the right side, trying to get by Charlie Thomas, won't let him go. Lobs to English on the high post, back out to Casey Manning. Across to Joyce, Joyce drives, pulls up, the jumper, misses. Scramble for the rebound. And Charlie Thomas has the loose ball. Quickly to Frazier breaking, back to Thomas, 2-on-1. He missed the layup, but he's fouled by Joyce. South Carolina has a lid on it. They haven't scored in almost 5 minutes, thanks at least in part to the very rugged man-to-man defense by the Hokies, working superbly at both ends of the court. Bobby Stevens into the left corner to Frazier. Holding on, bounces it to Bristow, back to Frazier, back out to Stevens. To Leader on the weak side, the 16-footer. In, and the Gobblers continue to pull away. 16-8 now. 1 minute to go in the first half. Virginia Tech up by 17, 45-28. Stevens backing to his left. Lob pass to Wade at the baseline. One fake. Here it goes, the jumper. Got it. Tech's lead is 19. Alan Bristow, shut off during the first 10 minutes of the second half, has popped in 8 in a row now in the last 6 minutes. Let the Gamecocks still continue to close on the Techmen. Stevens moving the ball to Thomas. Thomas, a bullet to Bristow underneath. Open, the layup is good. Alan Bristow hitting.
Well, Alan, this is your third go. This was your third go against South Carolina. Over the past 2 years, you've lost to that club in the very close ball games, all the way down to the last second. This big win over them after the last 2 years must be a great moment for you.
Yes, sir, it is. It's been 3 long years since we beat South Carolina, and this is probably the greatest win that we've had at home for a long time.
Well, the crowd was really with you tonight. Really a great Tech crowd.
Yes, sir. This is our first really big home game of the season, and the crowd here tonight was just great. Unbelievable.
Alan, you've had to play against taller people all year, and South Carolina has one of the tallest out there in 7-foot Danny Traylor. You got 33 against him tonight. How are you able to compensate for this height disadvantage that you have to go with?
Well, tonight Coach DeVos told me to move around inside as well as outside, and I thought since South Carolina was playing man-to-man, this gave me an opportunity to work on Traylor, and therefore I thought he was handicapped because I was forced to go outside.
The month of January ended with a season-high 127-92 romp over William and Mary. That win left the Gobblers with a mark of 11-2. February was welcomed in by Florida State. The Seminoles lost to UCLA in last year's NCAA Finals and were a talented crew. But the Techmen did them in. Bristow was held to 11 points, and Thomas missed the game. But 3 Techmen took up the slack. Leader, 22 points.
Bobby Stevens walking the ball across the midcourt line. Stevens and Dave Senzaba, the freshman, to the left side as Bristow has come outside to help. Now back to Bobby Stevens, who calls the play. Stevens starting to his right, overloading to the right. Bristow moving toward the corner. Frazier coming outside, takes the pass on the right sideline. Across the court, Craig Leader out on the left side, the weak side jumper. Got it. Craig Leader hitting. Petty from the top of the key for the Seminoles. Doesn't go. Rebound tipped by Bristow to Leader. Leader holding for traffic to clear, gets it to Bobby Stevens. And Stevens will take it up court. Virginia Tech up court with Leader on the left sideline. moving down toward the corner, coming back outside with it. Moves it around to the right. Bristow, the baseline. Boy, they come after him. Does he draw traffic? Back outside. Sensabaugh zips one to the baseline to Leader. Leader, jumper, hits.
Stevens, 26 points.
Seminoles on the attack. Petty going to Cole, down to Reggie Royals. Makes a turn and a whistle. Walking, traveling violation on Royals. Hokies have it again. Bobby Stevens into front court for Virginia Tech, up the left side, into the corner, out to Frazier. Frazier holds on and goes out between the circles to Dave Sensabaugh. Freshman Dave Sensabaugh making his first start tonight. Left side for Bobby Stevens. Stevens from outside. Got it! Bobby Stevens. 50 seconds to go in this first half. Stevens fakes right, bounce it to Bristow underneath, right back to Stevens. Top of the key jumper. Got it! 10 points for Stevens.
Ed Frazier, 24 points.
Otto Petty for the Seminoles, top of the key, taking the jumper, doesn't go, rebound, tapped by Bristow to Leader. Leader quickly up court to Sensabaugh. Sensabaugh to Ed Frazier, driving, lays it up and in. Dave Sensabaugh goes to Frazier in the corner. Frazier holding it up high, fakes to Bristow underneath, they drop back, the pumper from the corner, got it. Ed Frazier hitting his 14th point. Ed Frazier, big scoring job in the first half, 14 points. Has 6 here in the second half for 20 as the Hokies move into front court. Ahead in the ball game, it's Frazier on the right sideline. Bobby Stevens between the circles calls another play. Stevens off with it to Dave Sensabaugh. Stevens goes down the middle and out on the right side. Meanwhile, off to Frazier. Frazier left of the key jumper. Ed Frazier hits again.
Not a bad way to start a tough month. Last year's NCAA runners-up coming in here to Blacksburg, running into the Tech Coliseum crowd and the Hokies and the Hokes and the crowd, able to do the job.
Well, it was indeed a great victory for us. I think that Florida State is one of the most talented teams in the United States, and we went out there this evening and was able to play a great team. And of course, a team victory is the most important thing that we can possibly do, and you have to take your hat off and give a lot of credit to Ed Frazier, Bobby Stevens, and Charlie Thomas, who of course did not play because of a curfew, but it was really a great team game.
Well, you had this situation coming about. You had to play without one of your starters. It started all year. You played without one of your starters, but you were able to reach to the bench and come up with the answer.
That's right. Dave Sensabaugh started and played an excellent ball game. He got the first tip and took the ball down the floor and dropped it off to Ed Frazier for us to get the big basket. And at that time, with the 10,000 people that we had in the Coliseum, we got to moving, and from that point on, we controlled the tempo right through the end.
Again, you had to go at a bit of a height with a bit of a height problem.
Without a doubt, I thought that we gave up many inches, but again, Craig Leader and Ed Frazier and Calvin Wade just did a super job in and around the boards.
February began well, but turned into a mediocre month for the Techmen. There were unpredicted losses to Eastern Kentucky, Richmond, and Toledo. But the month ended as it began, with a show-stopping performance. Defensive genius Charlie Thomas held the University of Virginia's All-American Barry Parkhill to just 8 points as Tech beat the Cavaliers 87-83.
Cavaliers have gone to a new strategy, trying to set up Parkhill on a low post, get the ball to him in there where it could put more pressure on Charlie Thomas. Having trouble getting the ball inside. Now they do get it to him. He tries to turn the corner, but there's Charlie. Has to bang it back outside. The Cavaliers will set it up again. Barry Parkhill held to 2 points in the first half, has a pair of jumpers and a tap in here in the second half. Cavaliers in contention all the way, but the Hokies ahead all the way and due in great part to the job Charlie's doing on Barry Parkhill. Down to the final few seconds, Virginia Tech has it locked, 87-83. A great defensive job for Charlie Thomas tonight, a great offensive job by Calvin Wade coming off the bench. 23 points, 19 of them in the second half. Time running out, Virginia Tech playing keep away. There it is, the final score. Virginia Tech, 87. Virginia, 83.
A little bit of a turnabout tonight. Your big state rival, Virginia's Cavaliers, roughed you guys up pretty good down in Charlottesville last year, but it was get even night tonight, wasn't it?
This undoubtedly was the most important game that we played. The fellows were really sky high because of the fact that we had gotten beaten badly last year at Charlottesville. But again, it was a great team victory. You have to give a little credit to the Cavaliers. They were able to stick in there with us. We had them by 13 points with just about 7 minutes to go in the game, and they came rallying and, of course, made it close in the end. Calvin Wade and Alan Bristow were superior. Alan Bristow showed what an unselfish player he was, and dropping the ball off to Calvin Wade and Craig Leader underneath the basket near the end for many big points.
They, of course, came in with a preseason All-America candidate at guard and undoubtedly a fine player. Were there any special arrangements that you had in mind to negate his effectiveness?
We knew that we had to stop Barry Parkhill, and of course the only person we have that can do that is Charlie Thomas. They opened the middle up and tried to allow Barry Parkhill to go one-on-one, but Charlie Thomas, with his size and his quickness, was able to keep him out on the floor and, of course, to force him into many bad shots.
Well, again, you had to reach to your bench, and again, you came up with a big answer in Calvin Wade. He just had a super night, didn't he?
That's right. Calvin Wade had his best game of the year, and, of course, nobody could be happier than Calvin himself and his teammates because, you know, they were able to give the ball to him in many key situations, and, of course, he was able to deliver.
Well, in addition to his big 23 points, you put 6 people in double figures. Great balance against the Cavaliers.
That's right. This is what we've been looking for all year. We have to get a lot of scoring from a lot of different people because Alan Bristow cannot carry the load himself. And at this time, we have 4 men averaging in double figures, and, of course, to get 6 men in double figures is quite a tribute to our team play.
Another high point in the month of February was the night that Alan Bristow had against George Washington.
Charlie Thomas for Bobby Stevens. Stevens shot top of the key, doesn't go. Alan Bristow rebounds, back up, got it. 23 now for Alan Bristow. Charlie Thomas and Stevens pass back and forth. It goes down to the baseline. Leader back out. Stevens for Bristow on the opposite baseline. Jumper, good. 25 in the first half for Alan Bristow. 4 here in the second half. 29 for the game. Bristow moving up to the top of the key. Takes the pass, turns, looks down, takes the jumper, top of the circle, got it. 37 for Bristow. Bristow back in, going on an assault on the all-time single-game scoring record. Get it under to him, the shot, no good, gets it back up, got it! 47 points for Alan Bristow. With 2.5 minutes to go, Alan Bristow ties the all-time single-game scoring record set back in 1959 by Bob Ayresman. Bristow's 47th point. Bobby Stevens outside, Bristow breaking up to the top of the key. Stevens to Bristow, back to Stevens. Bristow wheeling down the lane, gets the pass, open for the layup. He's got it, there's the new record. 1:24 seconds to go. Alan Bristow sets a new single-game scoring record, 49 points, the record that has stood for 14 years.
Tonight, Alan Bristow claimed another line in Virginia Tech's record book with a phenomenal 52 points, breaking a record that had stood for 14 years. Alan, coming into this GW game, did you have any idea you were going to have such a night?
No, sir. Last week we lost to Richmond. I thought the team was really down, and we wanted to prove that we could come back. And I thought tonight everybody on the team played good.
Well, when you came into the latter stages of the game, you did have all those points. You came out, went back in. Was there any discussion about going for the record at that time? There must have been.
Yes, sir. Coach DeVoe, during the timeout, he told the other players if they were to start feeding the ball to me, and I was very proud of my teammates, and they said, yes, let Alan go for the record. And when I went back in, I thought the guys just played great in giving me the ball let me have the record.
The final regular season game was a victory over West Virginia, 76-53. Gotham, the Big Apple, New York City, Madison Square Garden, the N.I.T. Nobody, no how, no way gave the Gobblers much chance of copping the big prize. They were the underdogs. Who were these Virginia Tech guys anyhow? They knew Southern California. They knew Alabama. They knew Minnesota. They knew Notre Dame. But who were these Gobblers? What were they doing here? New Mexico was their first opponent. This should have been the end of it. But it was only the beginning. All-America candidate Alan Bristow scored 26 points, grabbed 10 rebounds, and dealt 7 assists as the Gobblers gobbled up the New Mexico Lobos down the stretch. Craig Leaders scored 14 of his 16 points in the second half and put a defensive cloak around New Mexico's 6'8 center Darryl Minifield.
Virginia Tech, after leading most of the first half, but down by 1 at halftime, 34-33, got itself pretty well ahead by 9 here in the second half, but the Lobos have come back again to tie it at 57. Now the Gobblers up by 4 twice here in the last couple of minutes, trying to put it away as they work it with 40 seconds to go. Bobby Stevens bouncing outside, gets the ball right side to Leader. Leader looking underneath, back to Stevens. Stevens Fakes it left, goes back to leader. Charlie Thomas breaking in from the right side. Gets it up. Good. 65-61. Virginia Tech by 4. New Mexico back up court. Into front court they come. Inside, left, back outside. Getting into Sayers. Sayers, hook shot. Got it. Back down to 2 again. Virginia Tech up by only 2. Bobby Stevens, closely guarded. Moving down the left side. Going all the way to the baseline. Makes the turn, hold it, whistle. Out of bounds. Bobby Stevens stepped on the line as he turned the corner. Called for out of bounds. But only 7 seconds to go. New Mexico down by 2. Will get the ball at the end line. Inbounds from the baseline. Sayers going to Taylor. Taylor driving the lane up. It doesn't go. Ed Frazier rebounds. Virginia Tech has it. Whistle, foul. Frazier fouled by Taylor. That's only number 6 in the team foul column in this second half against the Lobos, so there'll be no shots involved. Tech will put the ball in play from the end line with only 2 seconds to go. Ready to go. Ed Frazier out of bounds with it. All he has to do is find somebody inbound safely. Up over the head. A high pass out toward midcourt. Midfield up in the air. But Craig Leader grabs it. 1 second. That's it. The Hokies win. Virginia Tech has won its opening game. The Gobblers will go to the quarterfinals. Virginia Tech has upended New Mexico by 2. The final score, Virginia Tech 65, New Mexico 63. Tech will go to the quarterfinals against the Fairfield-Marshall winner.
Virginia Tech, by virtue of their last-minute 65-63 victory, won a quarterfinal berth against Fairfield University. Suburban Fairfield had 7,000 roaring nutmeggers from Connecticut behind them. But Virginia Tech fought them tooth and nail. This was supposed to be the one and only breather for Virginia Tech in the tournament. They were favored over the Connecticut Yankees on Madison Square Garden's court. But as the halftime buzzer sounded, the Techmen once again found themselves on the wrong side of a 43-34 score. In the second half, the Techmen started to move. They sped up the tempo and narrowed the margin. And in the closing minutes, finally pulled ahead.
So the Hokies down by 9 at the half at 43-34 and down again by 9, 49-40 early in the second half. Took the lead at the midway mark of this second half and held it until just a couple of minutes ago. And Fairfield went up by 1, 72-71. But now, thanks to the conversion of the 1-and-1 by Bobby Stevens with 45 seconds to go, look to be safe with a 3-point edge and just 16 seconds to go. Time is back in. Fairfield will put it in play. 16 seconds to go. Virginia Tech up by 3. Fairfield with the ball. Inbounds pass. Get it to Phil Rogers. Rogers jumper. Misses. Scramble for the rebound. Whistle, jump ball. It'll be Craig Leader for Virginia Tech. And for Fairfield, they pick out Tom Duffy. This jump ball at the Fairfield free throw line. Seconds to go. Here's the tip. Rogers gets it out of the scramble, puts it up. It's good. That cuts it back to 1. Leader out of bounds with it. Long up the right side, contact at midcourt. Chasing it down is Alan Bristow. Bristow comes up with it 1 second to go. That's it. That's the ball game. Virginia Tech has beaten Fairfield to move to the semifinals against Alabama. Alabama earlier tonight upsetting Minnesota, coming from way behind in the second half. Virginia Tech upending Fairfield, also coming from behind in the second half, will tangle in the semifinal. The final score, Virginia Tech 77, Fairfield 76. The Gobblers putting 5 men in double figures, headed by Craig Leader's 24. Charlie Thomas chipping in with 15 points, and 12 points apiece from Bobby Stevens, Ed Frazier, and Alan Bristow. The Hoks behind by 9 at the half, 9 in the second half, coming from way back to beat Fairfield to move into the semifinal. Again, 77 Virginia Tech, 76 Fairfield.
The quarterfinal victory over Fairfield put Virginia Tech in the semifinals against highly rated Alabama. The game was a heart-stomping, belly-whomping, mind-quirking, tear-jerking madhouse. Dave Hershey of the New York Daily News summed it up this way. Maybe there ought to be a law against Virginia Tech, something to stop them from crashing parties and running off with all the goodies. The nerve of the Gobblers. Why, just last week they were unheard of in these parts, and today they're playing Notre Dame for all the N.I.T. marbles after squeaking past Alabama 74-73 in yesterday's second semifinal game at the Garden before 15,205 screaming fans. What Dave Hershey was trying to describe in printed words the morning after was like being at a wild party and getting deliriously drunk and trying to describe it to outsiders the morning after.
Shot, no good. Rebound comes outside. Grabbed by Charlie Thomas. Thomas back up. Got it! That cuts it back to 3. 71-68. Jumper by Charlie Thomas. Alabama back up court with Ray Odoms. Into front court, cross the timeline. Going to Cleveland, back to Odoms. Going for the steal. Frazier taps it loose. Frazier's got it up court for Thomas. Thomas driving, lays it up. Good! It cuts it down. 71-70. 2.5 minutes to go. Alabama back up court. Cleveland and Odoms. Virginia Tech down by 1. Alabama by 1 with the ball. Whistle. Odoms. Charge. Offensive foul by Odoms will turn the ball back over to Virginia Tech. The Gobblers get it, trailing by 1. Less than 2.5 minutes to go. All right, Virginia Tech up court. Bobby Stevens on the left side to Ed Frazier. Frazier back to Stevens, working over on the right side, looking for Leader. Lets it to Leader, covered, back outside Stevens. Left side, Frazier. Back to Stevens. Stevens bouncing over to his left now. Whips it to Frazier, right of the key jumper. Got it! Virginia Tech goes in front. Virginia Tech up by 1, coming from 5 down to take the lead at 72-71. 14 seconds to go. Bobby Stevens at the free throw line with a 1-on-1 opportunity. Virginia Tech up by 1. This could do it for the Hokies. Bobby Stevens at the free throw line. He makes the first one. That'll earn the bonus. Virginia Tech up by 1. Here's the shot. It's good. Virginia Tech goes up by 2. Bobby Stevens with the front half of the 1-on-1. And with that one earns the bonus. Here it is. Got it! 3-point lead for Virginia Tech, 14 seconds to go. Here comes Alabama, back up court, down by 3. Odoms in front court to Cleveland, back to Odoms, driving the lane, up, it's good! Odoms scores, out of bounds with the ball, Virginia Tech calls a timeout. 5 seconds to go. Virginia Tech with a 1-point, 74-73 lead, 5 seconds to go. The Hokies will put the ball in play, back court. All they have to do is get the ball inbounds safely. Get it inbounds safely and use up 5 seconds. Set the inbounds play. Ed Frazier out of bounds with the ball. Lets it fly. Going with a full court pass. Contacted midcourt. Alan Bristow is down. The ball is loose in backcourt. The clock can't start till somebody touches it. Chasing it down is Craig Leader. Comes up with it in the corner. Leader off balance. Loses the ball. Coming up with it, Odoms for Alabama. Gets it in front court to Cleveland. Cleveland shoots. It's not good. The buzzer is gone anyway. We were watching the trailing official. The shot would not have counted. Virginia Tech wins. The final score, Virginia Tech 74, Alabama 73. The Hokies go to the finals tomorrow afternoon against Notre Dame.
When the season began, the critics had 3 things to say about this year's Virginia Tech basketball team. Too small, too white, and too native. Throughout the season, and throughout the N.I.T., Virginia Tech proved to the critics and the world that 5 starters of their native state of Virginia, black and white, short and tall, were one hell of a basketball team. The final proof of their worth was justified in the finals of the N.I.T. against Notre Dame.
Hokies probably played one of the best 20 minutes ever offensively in the first half of the game. So late in the half, Notre Dame went to the pressure defense. It bothered the Hoks, but they managed to hang on to the lead by 4 at halftime after leading by 10 twice in the first half. Now they find themselves 10 down. 6:20 to play. Play wanting to go to Shoemate, but going across instead. Now down to Shoemate. Shoemate underneath, puts it up and in. They got it deep to Shoemate. They worked very hard, very patiently, and got it to Shoemate. And of course, when they can get it to him in close, he's being guarded by a man much shorter. Craig Leader. Leader at the foul line. Starts down the right side, drives up on the glass, and in goes Craig Leader. 24 for Leader. Tech trying to press, trailing by 10. They get the steal. Frazier underneath. One fake, goes with a shot. It is in, and he's fouled. Here's the free toss. He got it. 3-point play by Ed Frazier, cuts it to 7. Tech will want to go to full court pressure now. Clay, double team. High post to Shoemate. Now Clay back near midcourt, 5.5 minutes to go. Notre Dame by 7. They get it down to Shoemate. Shoemate spins, takes the jumper left side. It doesn't go, but the rebound is to Crotty, and he's tied up by Stevens, and a jump ball. This is a mismatch. Crotty at 6'8", Stevens at 5'10". And this jump at the Notre Dame free throw line. 7-point difference, Notre Dame ahead. Here's the tip, and it goes to Charlie Thomas. Crotty missed it. Thomas in front court for Virginia Tech to Bobby Stevens. Left of the circle jumper. Stevens got it. Tech will put the ball in play on the right sideline. Trailing by 5 with 3:49 to play. Inbounds for Craig Leader. Now Bobby Stevens. Bristow outside on the left. Drives into the lane on Novak. Puts the shot up on the glass. It doesn't go. And Frazier could not come up with a rebound, but Shoemate did. And Alan Bristow is shaken up. Bristow apparently took an elbow or a head or something of that matter. Bristow says yes, he's all right. And up court Notre Dame with Clay, left side for Brokaw. Brokaw in the lane, takes the jumper and hits. Gary Brokaw. And it's 74-67. Back to the 7-point Notre Dame lead. Bobby Stevens from outside hits. Cutting it back to 5, 2:19 to play. And we've got a personal foul. They're asking Gary Novak to raise his hand, and that is his fifth. So there'll be no shots. That foul was away from the ball. And Tech will put the ball in play at the baseline, at the left of the bucket. Set the inbounds play. Leader coming outside for Bristow. Everybody's away from the basket. Comes out with it for Bobby Stevens with 2 minutes and 10 seconds to play now. Frazier to the baseline for the jumper, and it goes. Ed Frazier hitting. 2 minutes and 3 seconds to go. Long pass up court against the press. They get it to Brokaw. Brokaw has it knocked away by Charlie Thomas, who came from behind. Great move by Charlie Thomas to save a sure bucket. 2 minutes and 1 second to go. Notre Dame by 3 with the ball. 74-71. Notre Dame folks not real happy. Thought Charlie should have had a personal. Clay inbounds to Crotty and back to Clay near the corner. Double team. They come out to Crotty. Down to Shoemate. Whistle. Basket won't count as the foul is going to be on Craig Leader before the shot. That's number 4 on Leader. Big John Shoemate will be at the line. Shot well from there today. He's hit 4 of his 22 points. And he has the 1-and-1 opportunity. This first one is a big one. 1:57 to go. All right, Shoemate. Here it is. He missed it. The rebound to Charlie Thomas of Virginia Tech. Thomas in front court. Bobby Stevens between the circles. Bouncing to his right. Goes to Craig Leader in the corner. Deep to Bristow. Bristow sweeps it up. It goes. Alan Bristow cuts it back to 1. 1:40 to go. Notre Dame with a 1-point lead in the ball. Inbounds to Dwight Clay. Back to Crotty. Crotty a double team. Gets it up court. To Shoemate and to Clay. Make it Townsend and Clay. Now down to Shoemate. Back outside. Clay outside on the left. Down to Shoemate. Turns. Takes the shot. It goes. And a foul is on Alan Bristow. Shoemate has the one shot. Here it is. It is good. That makes it a 4-point difference. 1 minute and 20 seconds to go. 77-73. Notre Dame ahead of Virginia Tech with Bobby Stevens moving to the foul line. Taking the jump shot. In. Bobby Stevens hitting it. Cutting it back to 2. 1 minute and 9 seconds to go. Notre Dame with the ball in the 2-point lead. There's the inbounds pass to Shoemate. Shoemate down the left side. Shoemate moves to the lane. Shoemate passes out. Whistle. Block. A blocking foul is called on Ed Frazier. Notre Dame's lead is 3 at 78-75. 49 seconds to play. Ed Frazier out of bounds on the left side. Inbounds for Charlie Thomas. Thomas to Bristow. Bristow at the top of the key. Out for Leader. Leader's jumper left side. Rims out. Frazier back up. It's going to be in. Ed Frazier cuts it back to 1. 37 seconds to go. Notre Dame 1-point lead in the ball. A whistle and a foul is called on Bristow. Guilty of fouling Gary Brokaw backcourt. The second shot does not count. A lane violation. A lane violation. The second one doesn't count. Tech has the ball trailing by 2. 30 seconds to play. Bobby Stevens to midcourt and across down the right side. Left for Charlie Thomas. In for Bristow. Bristow's foul from behind, and that will be 1-and-1 for Bristow on the foul by Willie Townsend. 23 seconds to play. Notre Dame by 2. Bristow's 1 is missed. The rebound to Notre Dame. 20 seconds, 19 seconds to go. Notre Dame with the ball, 16 seconds to go. The ball is loose underneath. A scramble. Loose ball, pile up. Jump ball. 10 seconds to play. There's the tip. It's to Bobby Stevens. 8 seconds to go. Stevens up court for Charlie Thomas. We've got a timeout with 5 seconds to go. Okay. Let's see what the strategy is. 5 seconds to go. Tech will put the ball in play from midcourt. Bobby Stevens to Craig Leader. Leader with 5 seconds to go. Hit! We go to overtime. Craig Leader hits the jumper that ties the score. We go to overtime. 89-87. Notre Dame by 2 with the ball. 1 minute 7 seconds to go. Inbounds for Clay. Crotty starting up court. Crotty getting it into front court for Notre Dame. And down the left side. Comes back outside to Clay. Clay moving over to the left sideline is fouled by Bobby Stevens. And Bobby Stevens has his fourth. He made them both. 2 out of 2 by Clay. 91-87. 55 seconds to go. Tech has to hurry now. Bobby Stevens, Charlie Thomas into front court. Bristow, left sideline. Moves to the foul line. Outside for Stevens to drive down the left side. Put up the jumper. It goes and he's fouled. Bobby Stevens gets the bucket. And Dwight Clay gets the personal foul, his second. Ready for the free shot. Here it comes. It is good. 91-90. Notre Dame by 1 with the ball. Dwight Clay back to Pete Crotty. Oh, got it to Brokaw, rather. And now goes across to Clay. Clay up to the timeline and across with 31 seconds to go. And used up 9. All right, Clay along the left sideline. 25 seconds to go. Clay guarded closely, goes across with it, and they come back out to Crotty and now Brokaw. 20 seconds to play. Charlie Thomas fouls Brokaw. All right, 18 seconds to go. So 1-1 for Gary Brokaw. Ready for the one. Here it is. It is not good. Briscoe rebounds for Virginia Tech. 15 seconds, 14 seconds to go. Bobby Stevens, as he crosses midcourt, Tech calls a timeout. 12 seconds to go. Out of bounds with the ball is Ed Frazier. Want to get it into Bobby Stevens. He's back court. Gets it into front court. Stevens gets to the top of the key. One step, takes the jumper. It's not good. The rebound to Stevens. 2 seconds to go. He shoots. It's good! It's good! It's good! Virginia Tech wins the N.I.T. With 2 seconds to go, Bobby Stevens put it up. The buzzer went off. The ball went through, and Virginia Tech is the N.I.T. champion. Unbelievable! Virginia Tech wins 92-91. Bobby Stevens took the shot. It missed. It came back to him. He chased it down. He put it in the air. 1 second to go. The buzzer went off. Then the ball went through. It was good all the way. The ball well on the way before the buzzer. And Virginia Tech has won the N.I.T. in overtime. The final score, Virginia Tech 92, Notre Dame Tech 92, Notre Dame 91. What a fantastic finish. What a fantastic tournament.
It was a great tournament, like you said, Jerry. It was a situation where Virginia Tech was not considered to be a tournament favorite, but our fellows came in here. We played excellent team ball. We came from behind in many of the games. And, of course, we got a great lift from just everyone that played. Craig Leader had a sensational tournament. Alan Bristow played at times like I've never seen him play before. Bobby Stevens was just sensational. Calvin Wade played extremely good team ball. Ed Frazier had his best defensive efforts of the year in every ball game. But, of course, winning the N.I.T. is probably the greatest thing that's ever happened to Virginia Tech in athletics. And, of course, the people throughout the state of Virginia are just extremely excited at this time.